lot of them are, you know, you have to look at their age now. Look at the age of the players in Man City. Look at the age of the players in Liverpool. Look at the age of players in Arsenal. I mean, you could tell that these are players who are, some are in their 25, 24, 27 with a lot of experiences. Would you want to say you have a certain Nketiah, you have Gabriel Jesus, you have Timber? I mean, you look at, you know, these players and would you want to compare them with the kind of players you have? Then go over to Liverpool. Look at the players they have. Go to Manchester United, even though they seem not to be doing well too. So you look at the players and you want to think that these players they have at Chelsea are still small boys in their teens. Some of them are 18, some 20, 22. I mean, I don't know how, you know, with less experience, they will struggle. I feel terribly bad. Last weekend, they had a 2-goal lead against Arsenal. And I was so happy for them, even though I also have soft spot for Arsenal. But I was really happy for Chelsea last weekend when they were leading by that 2-0. And I felt if they can keep their heads calm, they can hold their own, and then this game ends at that 2-0, that would have automatically been the turning point for Chelsea, because they would have built that you know, I mean, confidence going up. Beating a certain Arsenal side 2-0 would have been the turning point for them. But, well, I don't know. It is more than coach, it is more than players. But I do think that all of these are factors. Maybe the former owner had placed a curse on the club, the way and manner the club was taken out from him.
It is what it is at the moment at Chelsea. Not a very good weekend, of course, for Mauricio Pochettino and his men. But
maybe the owner, the man who bought the club, will have to make peace with Abramovich, because we saw what was playing out around Man City when they said Torre had placed a cost on them, you know, not to win the Champions League, and just, you know, when they had, you know, some level of peace. We saw them last season winning the Champions League. Maybe they also have to make some peace with Abramovich and then see if things will turn around for them.
Talking about peace, a team where we were seeing peace at the moment is Arsenal.
Wow.
5 goals to 0 against.
Well, 5 goals to nothing. They win. You know, that was a convincing win. They won fully. It was a big win for them, and that win pushes them to number 2. While they've been, you know, head to head, you know, I mean, with Tottenham Hotspur, who are the summit of the league, but then for goal difference, they've been behind, you know, Tottenham. But then right now, they are second on the table. I mean, 5 goals. And one man we really need to talk about is Nketiah. Last season when Gabriel Jesus, you know, had that injury, he rose up to the occasion, and we saw how he carried the team. I'm not saying he was the only one who carried the team, but we saw, you know, the impact he made when Gabriel Jesus was injured. And today, he got, you know, a hat-trick. His first Premier League hat-trick. He has gotten a hat-trick for Arsenal in the Carabao Cup in 2022, but for this particular, for the Premier League, this is his first hat-trick, and thumbs up to Nketiah.
Thumbs up to Nketiah, and of course Arsenal, they're gradually pushing out the moment, and one will ask how far can they...
Match day 10? Match day 10, I should think. Yeah, you remember they started, you know, like this last season. We all felt, you know, the season was theirs to keep. But, like, you know, we used to say in our local palace, it turned out to be initial gra-gra. And then, you know, they went to sleep. And, of course, the owners of the league ran away with the league.
Interesting one. And, of course, we saw Bournemouth beat Burnley by 2 goals to 1. Struggle for Burnley, I tell you, since the season got started.
Burnley, their first win. Bournemouth, I beg your pardon. Bournemouth, their first win so far in this particular season. And for Burnley, Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield. 3 teams that gained promotion the same time. They occupy the 18th, 19th, and 10th and 20th position. I think Luton has about 5 points, Burnley 4 points, and Sheffield with 1 point. I don't know how they are going to turn things around. We saw Burnley in the second tier league. They were scoring goals, you know, tiki-taka, left and right. And then coming to the EPL proper. I don't know, but maybe at some point I told somebody that it might be difficult for Vincent Kompany to lead this team, you know, to the promised land. These were the same players that were playing in the second tier league. You know, I always have this belief that the second tier league used to be more stiffer. I use the Nigerian, the NNL, as a comparison, believing that, the NNL can be, more, the second tier league, can be more competitive and all of that. And that was the impression I had about, the championship. But with what Burnley is doing, I've come to terms with the fact that the EPL is tougher than the championship. And maybe the three teams, Burnley, Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield, at the end of the season might go back to where they came from.
The Manchester derby makes a return tomorrow, and we see Manchester City against Manchester United. What are your expectations for that particular encounter?
Well, not big expectations if you ask him, but the truth is that, right now, no two games, we all know no two games can be said to be the same. Man City themselves, they've had, some struggles, this particular season. They are not the Man City we saw, 2 seasons ago. Last season, they struggled a bit, but then, they were eventual winners. And this season, they've not, done pretty well. And so I'm not expecting so much from them. But then, you look at the other side of, Manchester. And I was talking about, the Reds. They are also not fantastic. They've had, some of the worst problems, this season. I mean, the likes of, Sancho not being part of the side, for disciplinary reasons and all of that. They've been struggling. So, like I said, no two games can be the same. It could go either way. It could be Manchester City. It could be Manchester United. But they also favor Man City carrying the day.
Interesting one. Let's quickly move down to the Spanish La Liga. We saw the Clásico as well this afternoon, and it was Real Madrid who got, of course, that particular victory, despite the fact that Barcelona, of course, the score, they actually got an early goal in that one, but they couldn't keep that one. And one man, of course, that has been on the lips of everyone, Jude Bellingham, got the winning goal in that particular one. I don't know what you make of today's Clásico.
Well, for me, it lived up to the billings. An El Clasico that we've had, 4 or 5 seasons ago when we had the likes of Leo Messi and, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, in both sides. And for me, I loved what I saw. And if there is one man I want to give credit, just like I gave to Nketiah, is Jude Bellingham. Even before we got to the El Clasico, you saw me made, I made references. I gave examples of, what the man has grown to be. Originally a midfielder, but then Carlo Ancelotti has changed, his position, and he's living up to the billings. He's living his dream. And I think what I saw, I liked. Last season, we saw the defending champions, Barcelona, and this time around, it might just be Real Madrid. So they are the two, big sides, in the Spanish La Liga. So, it ended in favor of Real Madrid. For me, thumbs up. Yes, thumbs up to Bellingham, and Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti. You can't, give the credit without the mention of the coach.
All right, at this point, we call it a wrap on the show.
But then, before we do a wrap, you didn't talk about, Harry Kane. He got an hat-trick today too. I mean, they had an 8-goal thriller today. I mean, that was a huge one, yeah. So, Harry Kane.
The man has been fine left and
He has. Bayern Munich seated comfortably. When I mean the positive of comfortably, not the negative like Sheffield United, the positive of comfortably sitting at the summit of the Bundesliga. So, thumbs up, to Harry Kane. I mean, he will also be happy having left, and also he will also be happy for his former club, Tottenham Hotspur. He has, a clause in the contract that says they could still buy him back. But then, he's living his dream at Bayern Munich, so we wish him all the best, and we hope that at the end of the season, he gets to win a club trophy.
That's it for Harry Kane. And then 8 goals to 0 against SV Standard. I tell you, it was really an impressive one for Bayern Munich as well. We're going to wrap up this point. We'll be back tomorrow by 6 p.m. Of course, to bring you the latest results coming from the top 5 leagues in Europe, as well as the Nigerian Premier Football League. But we can't go without telling you that Eddie Nketiah is a sport extraordinaire on today's edition of the show for scoring his 4th Premier League hat-trick. Deserving, Sarah.
Oh, deserving, more than deserving. That man has done pretty well. I mean, some young man, I look at his size and all of that. He's doing more than his size.